Hey, Omis, and thanks for joining us on the mat. Today's sequence will be standing, oxygenating, and preparing our bodies for Trikonasana, triangle pose. So thank you for being here, Karen, and all of you enjoying the replay. Be sure to drop a comment, set an intention for today's class. From your mat, anywhere you're standing on your mat is going to be fine. Our opening sequence is just about grounding into the feet, awakening the body with breath, and exploring Krishna's pose. So let's drop into the feet, draw your attention to the outside of your heel and the outer edge of the foot. As you breathe easily and steadily here, begin to identify all 5 toes, maybe wiggling them a little bit and grounding into the mat. Follow your exhales and start to notice the natural alignment of your hips and your shoulders and any tension in your knees. You want to soften through the knees, open through the chest, and engage through the abdominal so that there's a gentle tuck of the tailbone and a beautiful balancing as if a lampshade on top of a tree trunk. Breathing a little more fully, a little bit more mindfully here. Start to open the palms out in front of you. Every inhale, lifting your chest, lifting your crown, beginning to wash the exhales down the backside of your body. So we're in a mountain pose, finally, presently, and you might nuance it by drawing your toes slightly inward, finding your breath, filling up for up to 3 counts, inhaling, 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 letting the exhale drop down the back, seeking 3 counts there as well. Exhale a little bit more, and take that again. So maintaining this strong immune boosting posture, mountain pose, Tadasana, take your tongue and roll it like a taco, creating a little loop if it's possible for your body to do that. Not everybody can, so hold space, breathing in and out of your nose if it's not available for you. And those of us who can take a taco tongue, this is Satali's straw. And inhaling through the straw is going to have a cooling effect on the palate that will cool the entire body. As you exhale, just softly close the mouth and exhale through the nose. It's a gentle, natural exhale. The focus is on the inhale, creating the straw with your tongue. Sucking air through the straw. If this is new for you, then you might notice a little less oxygen than you're used to in the confines of the straw, but notice the cooling sensation of the tongue. It's a very effective breath. Let's take 2 more together. Soft, gentle exhale through the nose. Maintaining this mountain pose posture in your hands, thumbs spark out, shoulders roll down behind the heart. Last round here. Returning to a natural, normal breath when you're ready. Stepping feet parallel to one another, just below the hips. We're going to come onto our tippy toes, stretch our arms overhead. Stay up there for a breath, really stretch. Maybe you can imagine my hands touching the ceiling above me. Are they? Maybe. Not just yet, but keep yourself lifted on your toes as you begin to bend your knees and slide your back down an invisible wall behind you, keeping shoulders in line with your hips. Just drop down as low as is comfortable. Drop your arms down beside you and stand back normally. Take your right foot, step it a half step in front of you, and both feet are still parallel like train tracks. This is the footwork for Krishna's pose. So inhale, stretch your arms overhead, and take left arm at corresponding wrist. So if your right foot is stepped forward, then take your right wrist on your hand. And keeping your hips balanced, go ahead and stretch up, 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 and over to the side. gazing gently upward, creating a joyful face if it's comfortable for you to do so. Inhale, come right back up through the center, swap your wrists, and exhale to the other side. Breathing gently, keeping the chest facing forward, keeping the gaze overhead. It's a little bit more awkward one side to the other. So as you come through the center, just rebalance, bring your arms out like a square beside you. Nice work. Inhale all the way up. As the hands touch and draw towards heart center, you'll step your feet back together as well. A nice way to unify the mind and the body. So left foot steps forward, arms sweep overhead with an inhale. Grab the left wrist, anchor through both hips, and stretch the side body, gazing joyfully upward. Exhale a little bit lower into this shape and inhale out. Coming upward, activating thousands of nerve endings on your feet. Swap wrists and take it the other direction, staying anchored to the hips, stretching up and over, gazing gently upward, using the exhale to express a little more fully, and inhale to release, coming out wide through the elbows. Full exhale there, no need to rush. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead, and synchronize, stepping the foot and hands back to center. Amazing. Let's take 2 more rounds of Krishna to oxygenate the body. So remember that the side body is where possibility dwells. The can-do mentality that is often associated with our rib cage is extended through the fingertips to the toes, right? We are a huge vessel for our thoughts and ideas. So step your right foot forward, stretch your right arms overhead, and grab the right wrist anchored here. Drop to the left side, stretching up and over. Exhale as you look overhead and smile. I am flexible. Infinite possibilities dwell around me. Inhale, stretch up, swap your wrist, and take it to the other side. Stretching from the hip through the shoulder all the way to the fingertips. Looking up the whole time, challenging your balance. I am agile. I am resilient. Come through the center, stretching up with the inhale and elbows wide through the exhale. Synchronize the movement, hands back to heart center, both feet together, taking it to the left side. Stretch up through an inhale. Anchor through the left hip, stretch to the right. Open it up with that first 2 rounds of breath here. It's your breath punctuating the posture. Use the exhale to get a little deeper and the inhale to release back up. Swapping the wrists when you're ready to drop to the other side. Very different for your feet. So keep focused, breathing steadily, and exhale deepens you. Inhales will release you back to the center, widening your elbows through your exhale. Letting your breath be your guide. My cue is just a suggestion. Last round, right leg steps forward, arms come overhead. Grab your right wrist and rock to the left side. You can get a little deeper here, or maybe it's about opening the armpit, looking overhead. Wherever you are, check in with the feet. Notice the electrical sensations, activating hundreds of nerve endings. Inhale through the center, swapping your wrist to take it to the other side. Same idea here, going a little bit deeper, a little bit longer, opening the chest, opening the heart. Dropping through the exhale to release through the inhale. Up and out, squaring the heart. Nice work. Step both feet together. Last side, last set. Left foot steps forward. Reach for the left wrist. Take it to the right side. 2 breaths here. Patient, mindful, joyfully upward. Reach up through the inhale. Take it to the other side. Swapping wrists and dropping to the side. Gazing upward, rolling the armpit upward, shine upward. Find one affirmation for your flexibility and then meet through the center, exhaling that affirmation within your mind. Stepping both feet together when you're ready. Nice work. So hopefully you feel a little bit of heat in the arms from Krishna's pose. Go ahead and step your feet wide, toes pointing out for star. Arms stretch out like the 4 points of a star. Your crown of the head is the 5th. Just breathing here in through the nose, out through the mouth. 3 times like that. Nice. Bend to the knees, sit low to the hips, and allow the knees to track out. So you're using your inner thigh to Open the knee, they drop in the direction of the toes. Arms are still out like a star, but can mirror the legs. Nice work in a deep goddess pose. Also known as horse, if you keep your arms overhead, straight up like that. So take a modification for you, maybe leveling up with that horse pose, or joining me with just some gentle wrist circles, making sure I have a grip on my life today. I love the metaphysics of any aches and pains we might struggle with. And since we've been talking about flexibility and versatility, this horse pose can really strengthen the root of your body. So make sure that you're flattening the low back down, gently tucking the tailbone underneath you to get low. We're here for 2 more deep breaths. As you take your final inhale, stretch out into 5-pointed star. Good work. Left foot points forward and your right foot points out. So the back of the right heel is in line with the left arch. Hopefully you can find that nice precision here. And feel your hips. Notice what they do in this shape, how you're kind of tucking back to open the back of the thigh here. This is the footwork for Trikonasana, and it differs from Warrior 2 only in the bent knee. So as you build your sequences off mat, at home and outside of Zoom, you can always use Warrior 2 as a place to arrive in Trikonasana. Let's try it on the other side, bringing both feet together. Inhale, hands through heart center. Just noticing your heart rate today. Your heartbeat is an important part of the hatha practice. We want to elevate it at some point and maybe also drop it down, of course, at some point. So just noticing where you are today, taking a barometer for the rest of the practice. Left toes point out, right heel parallel to the short edge of the mat. Heel intersecting with the arch. So find that precision. And check in with the hips. Noticing what they do in Trikonasana, that tucking back to open behind the knee. Super good work. So come back to star, big inhale. And drop it down, Malasana squat. So you're going as low as you can. And I have pretty tight hips, so I have to actually lift off of my heels to get my bottom to drop much lower. But check out what's available for you. Use your elbows to widen your knees and think about getting your tailbone onto the ground, just above the ground. Open the chest, breathe. Satali straw here, 5 rounds. In through a taco-shaped tongue, out through a gentle exhale through the nostrils. Last round. Beautiful work. Inhale, stretch up through star. And let's work on our first triangle today. So left foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, right leg straight. Stretching arms out, gaze out over that middle finger. And just hinge forward, seeing if you can stretch your fingers well beyond your toes. From there, you're gonna rotate, keeping the chest forward. It is a stretch for your chest. Coming down, looking overhead. Stretch fingertips in opposite directions away from each other. Gaze overhead the whole time. Breathing here, listening, keeping activity through the toes. There should be a tremendous opening through this stretched leg, but you wanna stay connected through the foot and also through the arms. They're balancing you. Try to get both shoulders in line. Imagine me really pushing this shoulder back towards me, behind you. Right? Feel that openness from the back of the hand. Use the inhale to stretch yourself up. Take both feet forward, hands come to the hips, breathe. Noticing how aerobic these postures can be because we're stretching the whole body simultaneously, forcing oxygenated blood throughout the container. It's cool stuff. So point your left toe, arrange the heel to the arch of the back foot, tuck so that leg is straight. Arms come out like Warrior 2, so you're gazing over the middle finger and stretching out over the foot. So far over the foot that you're a couple fingers over the foot. Nice work. Keep the chest forward, rotate forward. Let both shoulders be in line as your hands stretch opposite directions. There is a desire sometimes to really force your fingers all the way to the mat, but you can compromise too much in the upper body by doing that. So placing a block to catch your hand, skyscraper or tissue box style, is going to be much better than forcing yourself down. You can also just gently graze over the shin. That's my preference. But you want to work on both arms going in opposite directions, chest staying open, leaning back to the back of the hand to the top shoulder. Feel that trust. You can open a little more than you are almost always, right? Stretch up to the inhale and come back to center, hands on hips, breathe. This is one of the most powerful basic yoga postures. Let's make sure you feel really comfortable reiterating it and playing with it. Coming back just as we did before, in with an inhale, out with an exhale. Stretch it in, exhale it into that shape, open through an inhale. Find stability through one more breath. It's about 3 breaths here. Inhale up, right? So it's a lot faster this time. Take it to the other side. Same idea. Inhale, stretch. Exhale down. Inhale, align. Exhale, sustain. Inhale, release. Back through the center. One more time, each side. Let's try it. Exhale, Trikonasana. Inhale into that fullest expression. Breathe here to maintain your shape. Both arms opposite direction, rolling this top hip, this top shoulder. Stretch it up through the inhale. Take it to the other side. You have the footwork. You have the breath work. Stretch up through the inhale. Sustain for one more breath here. Inhale to release, star and goddess with hands at your heart. Nice work. So before leaving the work, we're going to play with Skandasana. Shift yourself to the left leg, sparking your right toes, open your arms. Switch so that you come down onto the right side, lifting your left toes, opening your arms. Nice work. Come up through star, and we'll take 2 more rounds through Skandasana. This is the peak, so if you're feeling it, let it out through the mouth. Exhale. Sparking your toes, right? Letting your arms get involved in the mix as much as possible. Last side, last set here. Amazing. Good work. Take hands at hips and gently halfway fold. Crown of the head is stretching out. We're holding here to let the heart rate settle briefly, but also to lengthen the back. With your hands, you can actually push your hips away, and crown of the head stretches out. Try to really release each individual vertebrae. And when you're ready, exhale fully into a forward fold. First inversion, only inversion in today's practice. So shake, yes, 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 I'm awesome. And notice your knees here. You don't want them to be terribly locked out. A micro bend is going to be best. And you can play with really deeply bending if a groovier, more moving practice serves you better here. It might feel nice just to kind of shake, 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 especially if there's tension in the low back or hamstrings. Be sure you're gently releasing your head, crown of the head, seeking the ground over time, maybe placing a block there to see how far away you are from that possibility today. And notice the toes. If you can point them inward slightly, it's going to change the dynamic through the back of the leg. I'm really all about the oxygenation of your brain here, thanks to the moving blood you've created through practice. So from the center, go ahead and walk your hands towards the right leg, reaching for the right heel if that's available to you. Just letting your torso twist in the direction of the right leg. Linger here for a full round of breath. And gently walk through the center over to the other side. Again, reaching for the back of the heel and squaring the torso towards the corresponding leg. Breathe here. Nice. As you come back through the center, halfway lift, preparing your brain to come standing, and then finally reach up through star. Good. You'll come to the back of your mat and down onto your knees, seated just briefly in hero's pose on top of the ankles, just to lubricate the knee, which has been extended for quite some time in our practice. So we'll take it as an opportunity to take 10 breaths using our hands, pinky to pinky, one breath per finger. So inhale to begin pressing on your outermost pinky, following the breath through the exhale. Breathing in and out through the nose, fingertip by fingertip. Always maintaining attention on the fingertip until you begin the next inhale, moving to the next finger. Jumping one hand to the other, let your breath be your guide. And let your mind body observe how much time 10 mindful breaths is. And even if you lose track of your breath, you can always finish strong with your final pinky finger. Good work. So we're going to come into a shoelace posture, stretching legs out in front of you so that you can see 10 wonderful toes. Those are your legs. Nobody else has them. And maybe your legs are vehicles that can run marathons. Just love your legs for a moment here, literally touching them. You can move the muscle around on the bone. You could take gentle fists to tap along the edge of your leg, avoiding your kneecap, rubbing your ankles. There's no wrong way to love your body, right? We'll take our right knee on top of left, stacking them one on top of the other, allowing the leg to just sit foot up, facing upwards beside you. This is half shoelace. If you can sneak that opposite leg underneath you so that you're sitting firmly between both heels, then you can take a full shoelace. And just as we connected with the legs, you might take a moment here to connect with the foot. Good. So sitting in this posture is the best for preventing sciatic nerve issues. We will honor infinite possibility within ourselves when we take a more forward folding shape, but get comfortable stretching the side body, mirroring the work that we might have done standing for as long as you'd like, especially if there's a lot of tension. If this shape isn't sustainable, then elevate on a blanket or a pillow and be patient with yourself, not staying too long. As you exhale and fold, maybe finding your forehead on your knees or on stacked fists to make that possible. We have 5 rounds of breath at least. So find your exhale and begin your count from there. Not attaching to sensations of the body or sentiments of the mind, just breathing calmly, keeping the jaw soft. Taking a moment to notice if this is a sustainable shape for you before gently lifting back upward. About a minute in that shape, and a wonderful thing to add to your everyday practice. Shift your weight backwards, unravel your legs. And if you need to windshield wiper once or twice, you certainly can do so. It's also another opportunity just to love your legs. So there's no rush to move on. But when you do, you'll take your left knee, stack it over the right, and immediately you might notice an asymmetry from one side to the other. Always try to create a mirror from one side to the other doing the same thing, but respect the asymmetry. It's not always possible. So what is possible may be connect with your feet when you find your expression, or foot if you're in a half shoelace. Leaving time in the most basic expression of shoelace is a good way for us to build kinetic memory of the posture and to evaluate what's going on. So take a little exploration side to side maybe, mirroring what we did standing. And then when you're ready to gently fold forward, keeping anchored through the hips, but allowing the forehead To find a therapeutic compression, you'll follow the exhale and begin a count of 5 slow, steady breaths. Keeping the jaw soft and the mind quiet. Try not to attach to any sensations of the body or sentiments of the mind. Just being present to the breath. Taking a note before leaving the shape about how sustainable of a shape this is. Maybe planting a seed to return to it again soon. Shift your weight backwards, unravel the legs. Hopefully your body's feeling pretty groovy by now. We've moved a lot of blood throughout the system and stretched our side body. So coming onto your mat in a way that you can lay down, find your head, neck, and shoulders happy on the mat, your low back also happy on the mat. Sometimes you have to gently tuck your tailbone to really get your low back to sit on the mat. So play with that here for a moment. And then when you feel ready, hands come down beside you, rolling shoulders underneath you, palms will support you, forearms can support you too as you press through the feet. So lift your hips into a gentle modified bridge, lift as high as you can. Take a big deep breath and maintain that shape. Try not to squeeze the glute, even though it's naturally gonna happen. Try to squeeze the inner thighs instead, lifting a little higher here. 2 more deep breaths. Lovely work. With your exhale, slowly lower down. And draw your knees into your chest, rocking left and right, massaging the kidneys, forcing a little bit of blood to come in and out of the membrane, relieving inflammation. Wonderful work. So our last side body stretch of the day is Trikonasana. And you'll roll onto your right side to get into it. And look down at your feet. Let them be out in front of you a bit so that you can see them. And the extent to how far you bring them in front of you is going to depend on how much they move when you roll back over. But you want to keep the bottom heel anchored and both feet together as you just roll back onto your mat. So you'll get this nice banana shape in your lower body. And you'll mirror that shape with your upper body. So letting your shoulders stay on the ground, but reach in that rightward direction. You can even grab for the left wrist here if that's comfortable, or the opposite wrist. Find a way to sustain the shape, right? This is Trikonasana. And we're gonna stay here for at least a minute. So you can find your exhale and maybe count 5 slow, steady breaths. If you find that it's difficult to keep your feet in this shape, the one that is closest to the curve, the big curve, can step over the heel. So they're kind of latched there. Maintain the shape how you can, trying to relax through the toes and face so that the stretch is really about the side body. Super good for our nervous system and perfect preparation for our final relaxation. Really good work. Find your way through another exhale. And then when you're ready, just let your legs come back to the center, your arms splay out, maybe step your feet kind of wider, and just be here for a moment, listening to the rebound of the side that you just stretched. Setting up when you're ready on the left side to get into that position. Again, stepping your heels out in front of you so that you can see them down there, and then rolling your hips and shoulders back onto the mat, mirroring that banana or moon shape so that you get a beautiful opening on one side of the body and a gentle compression on the other side. Option to link your heels or grab for wrists to make this shape a little more sustainable. Find your exhale and count 5 slow, steady breaths here. making sure hips and shoulders are on the ground, just trying to mirror the work we did on one side on this side, so that you'll gradually release your breath. Your feet walk back to the midline. Arms are now making like a skydiver shape, feet stepping wider than the mat, arms directly out from your shoulders. Maybe you don't have space for this and it has to be something a little tinier, and that's a-okay. We're just breathing. Let it out through the mouth. 2 more times like that. Last one like that. Beautiful work. So your heels will come back in line with your hips, and you'll settle yourself down into a shape for Shavasana. If there's any final posture that you might need, drawing these into your chest, stretching them overhead, getting a twist from here, anything that you might need, we have up to a minute for you to take that shape at home. So feel free to personalize the practice now by getting that yogi's choice last posture here. The breath work that we're going to do is very advanced and very powerful. It's a great breath work to have in your toolkit because it doesn't take very long. You can use it for maybe a minute or 2 and get abundant results. So laying down is a nice, safe way to experience this breath work. You could also sit leaning against a wall upright, especially if you have any congestion or anything that limits your ability to breathe through the mouth. So how it's going to work is we will take about 30 breaths. I'll count them. You'll hear my breath as your guide, and you don't really have to worry about counting them. If you want to worry about counting them, you can use the tips of your fingers to do so, touching all 10 tips 3 times. And as you inhale, you want to fill up belly, chest, crown. You want to really imagine yourself filling up every time as much as you can. And when you exhale, you're really just emptying what needs to come out. So you're not following like in a 3-part exhale. It's a full, big inhale and then a gentle, natural exhale. All of it comes through an open mouth. Let's take 3 breaths now just so that you can understand how it's going to feel. Right, all the way in, chest, head, really breathing in and then letting it out. It kind of sounds intense. It's a-okay. Let's take our round now. If you get kind of dry mouth or need to back off in any way, then simply breathe through the nose and out the mouth more casually. You can end the exercise earlier if you need to. So from your seat, from your reclined position, from the place that you will do the breath work today, begin with me now. Fully in, gently out. Halfway there. Last 5. Take a big breath in and hold it. This is the real practice here, this stillness, this expanded capacity to hold, holding a little longer if you think you can, noticing how oxygenated the body is so that you can hold it. Exhale whenever you're ready. Maybe making that same observation of how much you can hold the exhale. So when you practice this breath work rigorously, you can actually feel different parts of your body responding to the alkalinization of your blood. It's pretty intense, but hopefully this introduction has been enough to help you want to relax into just about 90 seconds of final relaxation. So let your toes relax as your heels root into the ground. Let a wave of relaxation travel behind the knees and around your hips, across your chest, all the way to the crown of the head. Feeling your head held, your shoulders held, and your hips held here and now. If there's gratitude in your heart, place a gentle smile on your face. Make sure there's no tension in the eyes, and simply melt into the mat, embracing your energetic body as much as your physical body through stillness. If the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, bring it back to the body. Accepting whatever state of relaxation you have achieved as more than good enough already. We'll end our Shavasana with 7 mindful breaths, inviting the color red in with this next breath now. Trying to imagine it behind your eyelids, letting it gently dissipate through the exhale. Don't attach to whether you can see the color or not. Simply try orange next. Filling up with an orange color, letting it dissipate gently through the exhale. We continue up the color spectrum, seeking yellow, a bright, sunshiny yellow. Letting it go through the exhale. Finding green, imagining green, manifesting green. Let it go through the exhale. Next inhale, fueling the color blue, imagining it behind your eye, filling the whole head with the color blue. Letting go of it through the exhale. Last and final round of color-driven breath. We seek purple. Imagining purple in the mind's eye. Letting go of it as you finish your exhale. Wiggling fingers and toes, reawakening to your body, to the day ahead. Take a full body stretch and roll onto one side. Feetalasana, the counter pose to Shavasana, the place where you acknowledge how much you have already accomplished in this journey of life. Sitting upright when you're ready to close our practice together with the healing sound of Om, A-O-M. Let's stretch our spine upright, big inhale. Elbows come nice and wide through the exhale, so that you place your hands wherever is comfortable for you to make this sound together. Inhale to fuel the sound, A-O-M. I honor you as a reflection of me and us as resilient human beings. Namaste. And kudos for cool practice.